Right, let's get into our news at 8 o'clock. Very, very good morning to you. Well, the Communication and Digital Technology Minister Solly Malatsi says new sources of funding are needed to keep the SABC viable. He was speaking on Morning Live earlier.
It has felt like being in a high-speed car chase because every day you get a reminder of the magnitude of the responsibility that this department has. And the reality of the situation is, unlike the frontline service delivery portfolios, in a lot of people's imagination, it doesn't seem instrumental, but it is instrumental to a whole lot of interconnectivity across, government's ability, one, to provide services, but also to provide a regulatory environment, either be it for broadcasters, you were speaking briefly about, the finalization of the spectrum policy, and whether it's about, empowering South Africans with the infrastructure they need to remain connected to the world, because connectivity is an important issue in this climate that we are in, and also the general state of state-owned enterprises in this portfolio. Historically, a lot of them come from a very difficult past, and there's been some movement in terms of improvement in governance and how they are managed. And I think the biggest contributor in there has just been the lack of stability, even at executive level. I mean, we've had more than 13 ministers in this portfolio over a period of time, and that also contributes to just the general state of stability. And then you go across the board, even though in recent years there's been much more stability, is you need the state-owned enterprises like the Post Office, the Post Bank, the SABC, to be run well, and some of them have been run well, but also to be financially sustainable so that they can increasingly be less dependent on state funding, because the reality of the financial situation that government finds itself in is that there is less and less money to fund government activities and government programs. So it will be strategic even for the national fund for these entities, for us as government leaders, to create an environment that allows them to, one, diversify sources of revenue, so that they are financially independent and financially sustainable, so that you can then dedicate government funding towards the social services